Hi, it's me. Happy Martin Luther King birthday. Hope everybody's having fun celebrating. I'm hiding for a few minutes to answer some questions that I have been getting, both from my 3 days at the fair folks and from some local runners in the Facebook group. Because, you see, there's a snowstorm moving into Denver, and I hear some of my locals, we're going to Moab this weekend. Yay! Everybody else 3 days at the fair, you are not going to Moab, but you've got races coming up, and a bunch of you just won the lottery to get to do more running. Yay! Crazy people. So I wanted to talk a little bit about making good choices when we are coming off of something like winning the lottery to get to participate in a hellishly long run. I mean, 100 miles is insane, and 100K is less, but it's still crazy, let's be clear. So in these moments, all of us, anyone that has gravitated towards distance running or anyone who happens to have a vagina, we tend to be encouraged to just do it, just do it, just do it. And we're afraid if we don't just do it no matter what, that we are weak or a wimp, or we're wimping out, or we're not doing the work we should do. And I resent that notion. I resent it a lot. But because it causes people to make really stupid choices. Really stupid choices. I've got a runner right now with a broken fibula who would love to tell you guys what a good choice looks like. So, the kind of guiding thought is, and I'm going to meme this and put it on Instagram, better 3 days off now than 3 weeks off 3 days from now. It's a big deal. So, remember, we always come back to the very first question when we don't know what to do. The first question is, what do I need to get? And we don't talk about this very often. I've mentioned it before in podcasts that I did back with Train Like a Mother Club, that the golden rule of training and racing is don't get injured. Don't get injured. And we don't talk about it very much, but this is one of those times when I really feel like we should. You can race under all kinds of conditions, but not when you're injured. So we need to do whatever we can to avoid injury, okay? And here in Denver, and I live in the city, we have our sidewalks not heated. Like if you read my Nuzzle newsletter this weekend and you saw that article about heated sidewalks, I'm like, that is amazing. God, I wish we had that. Where I would just settle for smooth sidewalks. But I digress. There's still a lot of ice. A lot of icy patches. Icy enough that I have been taking my gear and going to Wash Park to do my runs, as opposed to running to Wash Park like I would like to do because there are too many large icy patches between here and there. And with more snow coming tonight, we're likely to have more icy patches tomorrow and fewer places to land. The reason this is complicated is because if I were to put on my nice spikes, I have a set of Catahulas, I will ruin them before I get to an icy patch. Like of a 5-mile run, I might be going through about 300 feet of ice today. And tomorrow, it'll be a whole lot more than that. I won't be able to see those icy patches with the snow on top of it. So I tell you that to tell you this. I can tell you right now what the wise choice was, and that's what I did. A lot of you like to say, this is the good choice, boom, and then take the thought out of it. So I would like to give you a framework to make these decisions as we head into what seems to be some tricky weather, because I hear there's more snow coming to the East Coast after all the dumping you guys got over the weekend too. So, the first question is always, what do I need to get? The answer is not injured. Use good judgment. Like, there's a spectrum between hide in a bubble, where you end up never training at all because conditions are never perfect, or just do it where you take a whole lot of risks that you don't need to take. And maybe they're all worth it until you break a fibula. And I'm not, if that person is watching, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not saying you made a bad choice. I hate it for you. I really, really, really do. But I just want to emphasize that, if it's icy outside, that's a risk. It's one worth thinking about. How much ice? How good am I on the ice? Am I prepared for ice, right? If you saying to yourself, I don't have spikes. I don't want to put screws in my shoes. I'm not That doesn't mean you're less dedicated. It doesn't make you less of a runner. And it's not a moral failure, right? You're not weak, right? This is your coach telling you, make good choices. Make good choices. And sometimes the good choice is not going to be run outside no matter what. And as a matter of fact, in the winter, more often than not, the right choice is get your butt on the treadmill. So we modify that question, what do I need to get? Think about what I tell my injured runners to do. What can I do? What can I do? So you're going to have to think like that injured runner. What can I do safely? And then do that. So I'll come back to what your options are in just a second, but I want to walk through that a little bit. So priority number 1 is to stay not injured. 1 day off is no big deal. 3 days off is no big deal. I can bring you back faster from 3 days off than I can from almost any injury, right? And it'll be hard to convince you that you're not behind if we've taken 3 days off, because you're going to start throwing all the numbers at me. You say the muscles start to break down after 3 days. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not in a coma. It's okay. So, and then number 2, so the first thing we need to stay not injured. So in staying not injured, then what do? We need to think about specificity. So if we're training for an event, then we need to mimic that event, right? So we need to be weight bearing on our ankles, moving forward. And if that is not an option in any way, shape, or form, then we need to think about splitting the 2 pieces apart of weight-bearing work on our feet and cardio separately if we have to. So, but that specificity is having to do with the goal. If you're just exercising, you can take a day off. And that's okay. If you're just trying not to lose your gains, 1 day off is not the end of the world unless you're breaking the exercise habit. And if you don't want to do that, I'm going to give you some options. Always, always, always have a plan B. And that plan B and a plan C. So when I think of it, plan A is do the workout as written outside, right? Plan B is do the workout as written inside. If you're in rural Vermont and getting to a gym, it's not an option because you don't have a treadmill and the gym and the roads are too bad. I'm from rural Tennessee. I get it. Like a 1/4 inch of ice is enough to keep us housebound for several weeks. And that had happened before. So I tell you that to tell you this. If you can't go, I know exactly what a 1/4 inch of ice on a dirt road looks like, and I know you don't need to be going out in it, running on it, much less trying to drive on it. Definitely don't want to run on it because the people who do decide to drive on it don't need to be driving at all. So I tell you this, plan B is do the workout as written indoors, and plan C, if you can't leave the house for any reason, you're trapped like I am in Tennessee when I go visit my parents and an ice storm decides to hit, then plan C is get your cardio through strength indoors. And that's when you go back to the desk series that are all up in my YouTube channel. I think Twitch only holds videos for 2 weeks out, and then I took a couple weeks off. Sorry. Needed a breather at the beginning of the year, finding the new schedule and trying to deal with having all the children's at home. So you have desk series 1, 2, 3, 4, and booty patootie, which is desk series number 5. I demonstrated yesterday. I said I would be on Twitching today, and I hope to do the strength with you later tonight. But I just plumb forgot it was a day off from school, and I remembered that right before I went to bed, and was like, oh, dang it. So I'm going to try to do that today, but if I don't, forgive me. At least you're not paying for this. But you can go through easily. So part of the reason, remember, why I created the desk series was this, that it's cardio. It is going to get your heart rate up and keep it up. And if you were to do, most of these are between 4 and 5 minutes. If you were to go and move 1 through series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's almost with a little bit of a break in between each set. That's going to be about half an hour of working out. So you could go through desk series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 twice, and that's an hour of cardio. Most of it, probably at least 93% of it, is weight bearing on your feet. It's not the same as a run, but it is way better than nothing, and you can do it in your home. So think about that. So plan A, do the workout as written outdoors. Plan B, do the workout as written indoors. Plan C, do strength over and over and over indoors. Okay? If you're like, I can run outside, Coach MK, and I can do it safely, but if it's a pace-driven workout, I probably can't hit the paces because I'm running in spikes. The answer is do what you can do safely. It doesn't really matter. What matters is not getting hurt. So if you're running in spikes, you can do the speed workout. It's going to depend on the ice, your ability to read where you are, how safe you feel, and how adept you are in those spikes. I personally have done speed workouts in spikes in one place. I ran the entire loop. This was 3 years ago. I was very cautious about it. We'd had a very big ice storm, and this was 2 days later, and everything was just like coated like the movie Frozen. I get to Wash Park, and I see that there's at least 2 inches of ice everywhere. Like, it was so bad that the park workers couldn't get in. So since it was a literal ice rink, I ran in my spikes. I felt very comfortable and very confident after one loop because I was getting great grip. And then in my second loop, I did my speed workout. I did not hit the paces. I did not attempt to hit the paces. I just went for the efforts, tried to run it more by feel, again, feeling safely because, trying to hit like 5K pace or faster in spikes on ice, that to me, it's not a categorical rule, but for me, those paces are so fast, I don't feel completely in control in good conditions. So 5K pace or faster, I won't do in spikes on ice, precisely because if I don't feel in control when there's no ice, I'm probably going to feel even less of that on ice, and that is a recipe for getting hurt. So that's what Coach MK would do. If you've got anything that's 5K pace or faster, I would either slow it down to 10K pace, or 10K effort even, is fine, even if that effort is slower, because if you're running in slush, great. Like, if you feel safe running in slush, I ran in slush the other day. I didn't like it. My ankles are still paying for it. It hurt a whole lot. It can be good for you, but not at paces. So, again, always use good judgment. Your worst case scenario is whatever you can do safely. If you must do it outdoors, you can get an easy effort run, and one day of not doing the paces is not going to set you back much. It really, really isn't. So that's like your default workout always is the easy effort run. And before you come at me like what's better, taking a speed workout and making an easy effort run outside or doing speed work inside, it does not matter. It is one workout. If it's 2 workouts, it still doesn't matter. If you live somewhere like Yellowknife, and Yellowknife's pretty far north, then it starts to matter a little bit, because then the question becomes, if I'm going to be missing large swathes my only option is to run outdoors. I have no indoor option. I can do all kinds of strength, but I can't run outdoors that often. Then we have to ask, do we really need to be in a training cycle right now? Maybe we should wait till everything thaws. Because all we need to do is try to maintain some level of fitness and sanity, not take any risks. Again, just keep going back to that framework over and over and over again. One workout isn't a big deal. Several is a trend. So and the trend in this case is not necessarily your friend saying like, well, I want to do this, but I just can't. That's the wrong way to look at it. It's not about blame. It's about, okay, then we need to do things differently. If this is the outcome you want, then we need to make different choices to make sure certain things happen. So if you're in the middle of a training cycle, I'd be like, I'm really indifferent. If you can get to the gym safely, then, do the workout as written indoors. If you can't get to the gym safely but feel okay running outside, great, just do an easy effort run. But the more you worry about it, am I doing the right thing? Because there are so many choices, you got to put that aside. Any choice you make is the right one, moving on. Because the one thing you're not going to be able to deal with is missing a run when you could have done it, but you spent so much time thinking about what the right choice would be that you ran out of time to actually do the workout. So you have your plan A, your plan B, and your plan C. Plan A, do the workout as written outdoors. Plan B is do the workout as written indoors. And plan C is just to get all the cardio strength specifically from the desk series indoors as you can and try to get the run done tomorrow when conditions clear up. And if this continues for several days at a time or several weeks in a row, every time a snowstorm hits, then maybe we need to talk about recalibrating your goals for the winter. Because remember, I never do. I don't go for an A race in the wintertime. Never have, never will. This is my time to build strength, to not lose fitness, and to work on my weaknesses for a very long time before I turn around and go into a fall marathon training cycle. So that's how I wanted you to think of it. If you have any questions, throw it here in the chat. I will I'll answer them now. Don't hesitate to email me with questions or to put them on the Coach MK Facebook page. That's the fastest way to get me. But yeah, just know that you're coached and you're loved, and whatever you're doing, you're probably winning at life. Should 3-day at the fair people be doing 50K, keep doing squish and Death Series and Damnation? Yes. Yep, the new one. So, Susan, did you see this stream yesterday where I was like, this is replacing Damnation on Monday and this is replacing Desk Series 4 on Monday? Because that, and I had to move through it really quickly. It was before we did the book club stream. That stream had the instructions for the next 2 weeks. And yes, so Desk Series 4 is gone. It is now replaced with Desk Series 5. Damnation is gone, and it is replaced with that damn squish. So you are still doing Desk Series the same as you did 3 times a day, only you're doing Desk Series 5 instead of Desk Series 4. You are still doing, so instead of, you still have that space at night for Damnation, you're just replacing it with that damn squish, but that, nothing else about it is changing. So if you think of it like a puzzle, we're just pulling things out and then sliding other things back in that same slot. The slots will not be changing for a while. Just couldn't remember the names. That's totally fine. There are also a couple other things I didn't get to demonstrate. That hamstring pull with the paper, we're going to kick that up a notch with the squish ball when I show later tonight. Basically, you're going to keep one foot on the floor, the other on the squish ball, go into bridge, try to find your balance, and then raise the planted foot, raise up on your toe and take your heel off the ground. We don't necessarily need to get the foot off the ground. We just want to get the heel off the ground and really challenge your stability and your balance. Same hammy move. Yep, different hammy move. I mean, it's a sim. I'll just demonstrate it later, but it's basically, it's the same idea, only we're replacing the piece of paper with the squish ball. Yeah, that's my daughter.
Yeah, I got you.
You didn't scare me this time, though. One time, this cute little girl came running in while I was focusing hard on demonstrating some strength, and she scared me, and I screamed, and she cried, and it was scary. So scary. Come here.
Scared me.
I didn't mean to. Come here. You want to show them your new thing?
New teddy bear from Wish. He's a sky teddy bear because he has these sky goggles.
It's an aviator.
And he also has this scarf, and I named him Max. And my sister Shiloh, she got an elephant that had wings and a skirt and a dress.
And we had pizza for lunch. We had a big day.
Yeah, and we also
because it turns out the Bumblebee movie is rated PG-13. What the F? So that was heartbreaking to be like, oh, we're going to go see Bumblebee. Oh, wait. No, we aren't. No, we aren't. That would have scared Shiloh really badly. But she spends half the movie in the bathroom anyway. So, yay! No, I don't want you doing strength up until race day. We're going to take strength off the week of the race, Julie, especially the hammy move, because I don't want to do anything that would throw you before the race, because I still want you to give it race effort. We're not going to have to take a full month off afterwards, because remember, race effort for an ultra is not the same as race effort anywhere else. So we'll take a few days off to recover. After that, when you don't feel the pain in your joints and in your muscles anymore, and I think you'll see you recover a lot more quickly than you expect to, because you're way fitter than you were before. So after a couple of days off, then we'll probably stick to like 10 days of nothing but easy effort running with some strides thrown in. And then when you're confident, and I am too, then we'll start throwing the strength back in. And the very first thing, and I know you guys are gonna, you're gonna be so sick of this, but you're gonna see a whole lot of 1-2 punch. Your 1-2 punches are going to continue to show up. They're gonna get longer, and they're gonna be more frequent. So yeah, thank you, sweet girl. So let me finish this. I'm almost done. So yeah, get used to that. The high knees they're going to be more of them. They're going to be faster. We're going to be doing more dynamic work. Lots of drills, lots of A skips, B skips. Google those if you want to. We're going to go back to like the deer jumping over the fence, trying to take that big bound up a hill. We're going to be working on leg turnover, because you got to remember, what we need, the trick to getting faster, even though nobody ever wants to hear it, it's through strength, and then we got to move faster. We just don't need to move faster the way runners want to move faster, right? Everybody's like, I want tempo runs and race pace miles. I'm like, oh, fucking what? Why? They don't do, you know, DJ ran a 2:41. You know how many race pace miles he ran in his training cycle? 3. Yep. They don't serve the purpose people seem to think they serve. But that's, I'll get off my soapbox about that. What we do need to do is recruit some fast twitch muscles. When it comes to fast twitch muscles, remember, you have them everywhere. You have them in your legs, in your calves, in your butthole, and in your vagina. You don't believe me, go see a pelvic floor PT, and they will test your fast twitch muscles. It is a humbling thing. So, and this is why when people are like, I want more fast twitch muscles, all I can do is think about, you know, their butthole, and then it makes it really hard to talk to those people. So, thank you for not bringing it up. But where I'm going to reference it with my 3 days at the fair people is to remind you that all we have to do with the fast twitch muscle is wake it up. Hi. 3 sets of 10 and you're good to go. Whatever it is you've done in the pelvic floor PT office is basically the same thing that I'm going to be having you do with your legs, and you're just going to have to do it frequently throughout the day. So those high knees, I think I gave you guys a minute, and you might never get to the point where you can do high knees continuously for a minute. And if you can do them now, then you're doing those high knees incorrectly, because it's supposed to be as fast as you can possibly move your legs. I watched Yulia, the Russian Olympic former, the one that blew up WADA and doping for the Russian Federation. When I met her at the Lydiard training 2 years ago, I watched her do high knees, and she was totally fatigued, and her forearm fell to crap after 25 seconds. And so if that is an Olympic runner who had been doping for a long time and had just stopped, can do it for 25 seconds, you shouldn't be able to, is what I'm saying. So it's a minute. So when I say do the high knees, it's a minute worth of high knees, but it might take you 5 minutes to do all those high knees. Over time, you'll recover faster, and you'll get down to like 3 minutes. Ideally, we would be getting a minute worth of high knees done in about 2 minutes. Okay? But that is beside the point. We're going to be doing that over and over and over. We're going to be doing those throughout the day. It'll be sort of like the desk series, only sprinkling that stuff in, and because we're going to be firing up your fast twitch muscles every single day in a different way. And that's part of the neuromuscular connection that leads to speed and prowess once we start doing faster runs, either up hills, around a track, or on the road. Depending on what's available to us as spring comes by, and we just got to survive it and get you ready while we survive. So there's that. Yay! Sorry. Hi, Miss Broken Fibula. I love you. Yeah, sorry. I swear to God, I wasn't trying to make fun of you, but I've used you as the cautionary tale to everybody. I'm like, let me tell you about this runner I've got with a broken leg who wrote me immediately afterwards to be like, I fell on ice. Can you have both in slow, fast twitch muscles? No, you have both. Okay, so if you're all muscles, and so every series of muscles anywhere in your body, let's talk about your bicep. Right, so your bicep muscle is going to be composed of mainly slow twitch muscles with a sliver of fast twitch muscles. What the exact ratio is differs from human to human. And we talk about recruiting fast twitch muscles for certain events. And that's how you'll hear run coaches talk. We want to do all the muscle recruiting we can. Powerlifters, it's the other way around. If you're a sprinter, you want all the fast twitch you can get and super, super powerful muscles. Distance runners, people doing 100K races, they don't need fast twitch muscles. They just need them to be there and work. We need all the slow twitch muscles for maximum endurance. We need power only through fatigue. If too much power, and they'll end up sprinting the beginning and then not having enough fuel left in the tank for the rest of the race. For a power lifter, you really need the fast twitch muscles, but you need them firing when you're training. You're training for power to get more power out of that lift. Because if you're trying to jerk, let's say 300 pounds. Let's say that's 2 times your body weight. If you're trying to clean jerk twice your body weight, that's going to be the force to get up off the ground is primarily going to be coming from your fast twitch muscles, and then the return back to the ground will be supported by slow twitch. So it's a different way of getting at the same thing, and it's one of the reasons why it can be tricky for a power lifter to be like, well, I'm really fit, now I'm going to turn around and train for this distance event while trying to PR in the deadlift. And I'm like, we need to put off either the training for the race or the PRing in the deadlift. These are 2 goals that do not These are two great tastes that don't actually taste great together. So a power lifter could be a terrific sprinter, and I would have no qualms training. It wouldn't take very long to take a power lifter and get them ready for like an 800-meter race or a mile. Anything longer than a mile, though, and you're going to be sacrificing some of the things that made you really good at lifting. So anything longer than a mile, you're going to have to think about it either or in that training cycle, because it's almost like a fraction. When we make this the number on the bottom bigger, it reduces the number as a whole, and that's effectively how the math is going to effectively how the math works out in your body. So it doesn't mean like you can't be both, but like a power lifter could be a really terrific sprinter. They could be a really terrific distance runner because that person's going to have a massive VO2 max, and once we've trained them for endurance, that's going to be a much quicker transition than the person who hasn't been working out at all. At the same time, there's still going to be some time, and there is going to be a transition. So that's the hard thing when I get a lifter, and I get a lot of them that come in and say, hey, like especially people from CrossFit, what I really want to do is not stop, but I want to work with coach on the side so I can come back and kick some ass in the CrossFit endurance classes. And I'm all about that goal. I really don't care what people's goals are, as long as they won't get me arrested. I will help you work towards it. The weirdest goal, the only goal I've ever had that made me feel kind of funny, was a woman that hired me, and she was very, very specific about the time she needed to hit. And she was a lifter. She was a CrossFitter. And I was like, all right, we're going to do that. Well, we can do that. That seemed like a normal ask for me as a coach. I trained her for it. I was there at the race where she executed. She reached her goal. What she didn't tell me was that she'd found out her husband was cheating on her and with a woman in her local run club that happened to go to the same CrossFit gym that he did. They'd been having an affair. She found out about it. She decides not only does she want to enter this race and beat them both, but when they crossed the finish line, the attorney was there to serve him with divorce papers. So I found that out on race day. It was really great. If I had known all of that in advance, I'm not sure I would have helped with that situation so much, but that's a true story. That's pretty much the only thing I've ever been asked to do that made me uncomfortable. So yes, lifters can do everything, and that y'all got some crazy ideas for revenge, so hell if I'm pissing off a lifter ever. Right? And this is the real reason why I won't do CrossFit in Denver or even like visit the boxes, because I'm too scared of running into these people ever again. Yay! So yeah, everybody has slow and fast twitch muscles. What you need to focus on having and recruiting really depends. It's contingent upon the sport that you're doing at any moment. There's a certain number of muscles that can be converted one way or another, and it just depends on what you're doing. It's not a big deal. It's not, once you've taken those muscles and recruited them to fast twitch, you can absolutely go back. They can absolutely go the other way to slow twitch. So there are really three muscle types. Purely slow twitch, purely fast twitch, and then this strata in the middle that could be one or the other, and it just depends on what you're training for. Oh, don't get me started on run clubs. ATP in Houston, where I used to run back when I was fast, like after I had my first baby. Woo, woo. Wow, there were 2 divorces and two affairs. Oh, while I was just like in the short time that I was running with those guys before I got pregnant with the second baby. Drama with capital D. Plus, it's how my husband travels for work, so if I'm telling him these stories, you wouldn't believe the crazy shit happened at my run club. That's just going to make him insecure, and he doesn't deserve that. So, yeah, I'm a little more selective about where I spend my time working out. And granted, drama, you can find drama absolutely anywhere. It's just, I'm glad I got that introduction in Denver through coaching and not through being part of it, being scarred by the experience and then having to go find new people. Glad to get away from this nonsense. Yeah, it's hard to get away from nonsense. It's really hard. So yay, any more questions? Feel free, throw them at me. That's pretty much everything I had to say about running on the ice. Always start with what do I need to get? Not injured is the resounding answer. Work from there. If nothing, know that you're coached. You are loved, you're winning at life, and bug me, Susan. I'm going to try to show you guys that move later, either before the kids go to bed or while they take their baths. So, yay, MLK Day. Go enjoy.